Suzy Stride here at Potter Street Baptist Church Hall. Is this part of a campaign?
This is part of a campaign. I've been down here to visit this coffee morning a number of times and speak with lots of the elderly folk here, and different issues were coming up, so I decided that in the next 100 days I'm going to have 100 cups of tea with 100 pensioners in the next 100 days to listen to them and hear what would they want from a next Labour government, what would they want if I became their MP, and out of that we're going to form a pensioner pledge card. So it'll be 5 pledges that we're making to pensioners in Harlow as to what we would do if we win here.
Not just this morning, but I would say over the last 6 months or so, what issues have come up when you've had conversations with pensioners?
I mean, overwhelmingly, the top 2 issues are the buses and the NHS. So just now chatting to these lovely people behind me, just saying, you know, if they've got a hospital appointment, they've got to get a bus from their house into the town centre, and then they've got to walk a mile to the hospital. I mean, that is unacceptable. But also, often the timetables are wrong. Often the buses are not on time, and you've got elderly people going out, waiting for a bus, waiting, and it's not hot out there, it's freezing cold. Buses don't come, they go home, and that's their day gone. And that may not seem like a big deal, but for me that's social exclusion, and I personally think that elderly people deserve better, and I think Harlow deserves better. Then the other thing obviously is the NHS, and overwhelmingly people here today are very concerned about the NHS. There's people in this room that voted Tory at the last election and are basically saying they're not going to be voting Tory for the Tories again because they can see what the impact has been on the NHS, and I'm not just saying that to them, they're saying that to me. So they're the top 2 issues really, the buses and the NHS.
Why do you think the NHS has become, it's not just it's become such an important factor now? Here we are in January, we're 10 weeks before Parliament dissolves.
Yeah.
You know, why do you think it has become such an important factor?
Well, because I think if something's doing well, you're not concerned about it. But the NHS is in a state of crisis, isn't it? You know, when Princess Alexandra Hospital has to say we can't see people because our A&E is overwhelmed, when you've got people having to wait far longer for an ambulance, having to wait far longer for treatment, you know, that makes people think, well, there's a crisis going on, I'm concerned about this, and they think back and they think actually this didn't happen under Labour, you know, and they may have, you know, concerns about the last Labour government, but they know we looked after the NHS. So I think for people, they can see that there's a problem going on in the NHS, they're not happy about it, and they want it in safe hands, and the only safe hands for the NHS is Labour.
But people come back at you as Labour, and let's not pretend 1997 to 2010 didn't happen, and they'll say those 3 letters PFI.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the fact of the matter is, I mean, I wasn't a Labour Party MP then, and there were mistakes. There were things that I don't agree with, decisions that were made, and I think probably most people in the Labour Party would say that, you know, they didn't agree with those decisions. This, you know, not lose perspective here, that's one small part. The fact of the matter is we rebuilt most of the hospitals in this country. We saw thousands of doctors, thousands of nurses coming in, and the lowest waiting times in the whole history of the NHS. And the Tories are basically completely, you know, ruining that record, and NHS waiting times, treatment times are going through the roof. And as I say, people here today, people in Harlow are not happy about that, and that's why resoundingly, it's quite interesting that people are saying that they are going to be voting Labour.